Joe, the All-Star team selected yesterday. What do you think of your representatives? You guys?
I'm pleased. Obviously, for Mo, being his final season, and this is not like a gift that he's getting. He obviously deserves to go, but it's in New York, so I think that's special. And for Robbie, it's special as well. And I'm really hoping that David Robertson gets a chance. He's been so good for us, and I think he deserves a chance to go. And you can vote for him on Yankees.com.
I was just going to ask you if you have any plea for the fans.
Yeah, please go and vote as many times as you can. This is a kid that's really deserving.
You look at today, Kuroda. Do you look at him as being 100% healthy, or early in this game will you check in with him maybe a little bit more than you usually?
No, I look at him being 100% healthy. I wouldn't run him out there if I didn't think he was ready to go, and what the doctors told us in his bullpen and what we saw in his bullpen. So, the one thing you do worry about is the heat. If guys get in the long innings, you worry about that. But as far as health, I'm pretty convinced he's healthy.
Have you talked to Jeter since yesterday, or anyone that has talked to Jeter?
No, I just got a report that he lined out, and I think he grounded out, and he had a couple of bats, a couple of plays in the field. But he felt good, and I watched his at-bats, and they looked pretty good.
Any news on what you guys are planning on doing with Pineda?
No.
Dan?
Joe, you'd also lobbied a little bit for Gardner maybe earlier in the month.
Yeah.
You surprised to not see him get any recognition?
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed for him, but I've been on that side, and there's always people feel deserving players that are left off, and the rest is not going to hurt him either. I mean, that's for sure, and I know how difficult it is, and I think you always pull for your players. I mean, that's what you do.
Wally?
Joe, what's the plan for Jeter going forward? Now, how many games do you think he needs to play down there before you're satisfied?
Wally, what's my patent answer?
I don't know.
He's ready when he's ready. I think what you have to do, Wally, is you have to see how he's moving around, how he's responding physically, playing every day. I think he's DHing today. You have to build him up to, he has to be able to play more than 5 innings once every 3 days. So, I mean, we'll go through this week, I'm sure, and then we'll make an evaluation. Yeah. But my patent answer is he's ready when he's ready.
Roger?
Joe, because it's Derek Jeter and because of what he can do for your club, is it a little harder to be patient with him so close?
Well, I don't think so, because I don't think you want to run a player out there who's not ready to play. I don't think that's fair to him, and I don't think that's fair to us. And I think you risk injury in doing that, and then you have a whole nother DL stint and set of circumstances. So I think you have to be patient. If there's one positive thing in all this, is you do have the 4 days that we are off. So even if he was ready those days, you can't bring him back anyway. So it allows the players to get the time if they need it.
John?
Joe, he made it sound like last night that he doesn't expect to be up there long, but it doesn't sound like you expect him to be before the All-Star break.
Well, I don't ever put a time limit on it, because I don't think it's fair to the player, and I don't think it's fair to us, because if the player, if all of a sudden you say a player is supposed to be here this date and he's not ready to go, and then it becomes a whole nother story, and that's not what I want. And that's why I always say they're ready when they're ready and when we feel that they're ready. So I'm not saying anything about when he's going to be here or when he's not going to be here. I just don't like to put a date on it.
And the only reason he's DHing as opposed to playing short today, just they don't want to push it medically with the ankle.
Yeah, and you can get more at-bats, number one, and he played in the field yesterday, and the next time he'll probably play in the field a couple days in a row, and you go from there. It's just a slow build-up, kind of like, in spring training, if he played in the field yesterday the first day, he'd probably have today off.
Any more questions for Joe?
Hi, Joe. Glenn Schuck from 1010 Wins. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
Just wanted to ask you about Newtown, if you could. The Yankees are honoring some of the families that are coming here today. A lot of them, and the Yankees do a lot of things like this. Just about your personal feelings about having them here in the stadium today.
I think it's nice. I think the families and the people in that town have went through so much, and I think it's important that, I know as we get away from the time of the event that there's still a lot of struggles that this town is going through, and that we do whatever we can to give them hope and to be there for them. And this is something that has scarred their lives forever, and we can't forget that, and that we can't forget that we need to reach out and continue to reach out to the families.
Dan?
When do you start looking for results from Alex?
Oh, I don't know. I think you try to watch his at bats, and how hard he's hitting the ball. The contact is probably the most important thing. Not necessarily did he go 2 for 3 or 3 for 4 or whatever. But you'd like to give him 7-8 days before you start to do that and see if you see an improvement. Kind of like you do in spring training. I don't worry about our hitters in spring training the first couple of weeks. You just don't. As you start to get near the end, you want to see him swinging the bat well, and that's kind of the same thing in a rehab assignment.
He said that you guys have had almost daily contact. What have those conversations been like lately now that he's doing more? Just
how he's feeling, how his body's responding. I'm sure he's, you can tell he's obviously excited to play, and it's good to see him back on the field, those sort of things. But my concern is how his body's responding.
Wally?
Two things on Alex now. I think it's assumed he's going to take the whole 20 days, pretty much.
I wouldn't assume that, but, I mean, that's what we're allowing him to do in that sense. So that's why I don't put a time on it, Wally. If he needs 20 days, he needs 20 days.
Now, where is he going to stay in Florida for a while?
I have that I don't get too involved with because I don't know home schedules of minor league teams.
Roger?
Obviously, it could change, but right now it seems like Derek may be slightly ahead of Alex in terms of getting back. Could you envision an infield where both Nunez and Jeter play at the same time?
Probably not. I don't. I mean, maybe, but it's, we've talked about leaving Nooney at short and playing him at short. It's just something that I'll manage when I get to that point. Hopefully I have to make those decisions in a sense, that we get everyone back healthy. It's something that we haven't enjoyed this year.
One last one for Joe.
Joe, you've got some decisions to make rotation-wise coming up as far as Pineda coming back and where Nova slots in moving forward. Is that going to be like a sort of an evaluation period over the All-Star game, over the All-Star break? You guys will sort of think about what you want to do going forward? Or?
Well, that's something that I'm sure Cash is going to talk to the people that have watched Pineda a lot over the last couple of weeks and to see where he's at. And right now we have Nova slotted in as one of our rotation guys. He's throwing the ball very well, so I haven't put a lot of thought into that.